I noticed the necklace before I noticed anything else about Emily. A thin silver chain, a small blue stone, resting just above her collarbone. She wore it the night we met at Grace's birthday party, and she's worn it every single day since. 2 years now. 2 years, and I still don't know why. You're staring again, Emily said, catching me one Saturday morning as she poured coffee into her mug. Sorry. I stopped, unsure how to finish. That necklace. You never take it off. She touched it lightly, her fingers brushing the stone the way she always did when I brought it up. It's just a habit, Daniel. Even in the shower? Emily laughed, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. Even in the shower. Some habits stick. I let it go, like I always did. That was our rhythm. I'd ask, she'd deflect with that soft smile, and I'd tell myself it didn't matter. A necklace was just a necklace. People had sentimental objects. My mom still kept my dad's old watch in her nightstand drawer, and he'd been gone 12 years. But something about the way Emily held it, like she was checking it was still there, like she needed it, made me wonder. Monday morning, at the warehouse, Marcus Reed leaned against my desk while I sorted through shipment invoices. You look tired, Marcus said. Didn't sleep much. Trouble in paradise? No, just work stuff. I didn't look up from the invoices. Emily's fine. We're fine. Marcus pulled a chair over, uninvited, and sat backward on it, arms crossed over the top. You ever figure out that necklace thing you told me about? I regretted mentioning it to him in the first place. Marcus had a way of picking at things until they came apart. She said it's just a habit. A habit. Marcus repeated the word slowly, like he was tasting it. 2 years, and that's all you got? A habit. Some people just like certain things, man. Sure. Marcus shrugged, but his mouth curled at the corner. You sure that's not from an ex, Daniel? Girls don't hold on to jewelry like that for no reason. My cousin dated a girl who wore her ex's ring on a chain for a year. Called it sentimental. My stomach tightened, just slightly. It's not like that. How do you know? Because I trust her. Marcus raised both hands like he was surrendering. Hey, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, if my girlfriend wore some mystery necklace every single day and wouldn't tell me where it came from, I'd want to know. She told me where it came from. Sort of. Marcus smirked. That's not an answer, Daniel. That's a dodge. I wanted to argue, but the truth was he wasn't wrong. Emily had never actually told me where the necklace came from. She told me it was a habit. She told me it mattered to her. She'd never told me why. I pushed the invoices aside, frustrated now, though I couldn't tell if I was frustrated with Marcus or with myself for not having a better answer. Forget it, I said. It's not a big deal. If you say so. Marcus stood, pushing the chair back under the desk. Just looking out for you, man. That night, I came home to find Emily curled up on the couch, her knees pulled to her chest, staring at nothing in particular. The TV was on, some show neither of us was actually watching. Her hand rested at her throat, fingers wrapped loosely around the necklace, thumb moving over the stone in slow, absent circles. Hey, I said, sitting beside her. You okay? She blinked, like she was surfacing from somewhere far away. Yeah, just tired. You sure? I'm sure, Daniel. But her eyes stayed distant, fixed somewhere past me, somewhere I couldn't follow. Her thumb kept moving over the stone, steady, almost like a heartbeat. I watched her for a long moment, Marcus's words creeping back into my head no matter how hard I tried to shove them out. Girls don't hold on to jewelry like that for no reason. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself I trusted her. But watching Emily sit there, gripping that necklace like it was the only solid thing in the room, something in my chest twisted anyway. Quiet, uninvited, and impossible to shake. I told myself I'd let it go. I didn't. 3 days later, over dinner, I brought it up again. I don't know why I couldn't leave it alone. Maybe it was Marcus's voice still rattling around in my skull. Maybe it was watching Emily grip that necklace like a lifeline. Either way, the words came out before I could stop them. Can I ask you something about the necklace? Emily's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Again, Daniel, I just want to understand it. There's nothing to understand. I told you already. Her voice had an edge now, sharper than before. You told me it's a habit. That's not an explanation, Emily. That's a wall. She set her fork down harder than she needed to. Why does it matter so much to you all of a sudden? Because you wear it every day, and you won't tell me why, and I'm starting to feel like an idiot for not knowing something this basic about the person I've been with for 2 years. It's not basic, Emily said, her voice cracking slightly. It's mine. Can't I just have something that's mine? Not if it's making you shut down every time I bring it up. Maybe I shut down because you keep pushing. Emily stood abruptly, chair scraping against the floor. I don't want to talk about this right now. Emily, I'm going to bed. She left the table without looking back, and I sat there alone with a half-eaten plate of pasta and a knot in my stomach that wouldn't loosen. I called my sister Grace the next morning, mostly because I needed someone to tell me I wasn't losing my mind. You're overthinking this, Grace said, before I'd even finished explaining. I'm not overthinking it. She won't answer a simple question. Maybe it's not simple to her, Daniel. Maybe it's something private. Since when do you interrogate people over jewelry? Since Marcus showed me. I stopped myself. Since Marcus showed you what? Nothing. Forget it. Daniel. Grace's voice turned firm, the same tone she used when we were kids, and she caught me lying about breaking something. Is this about Marcus? Because that guy has been stirring trouble since high school. You remember what he did to Josh's relationship, right? Whispered nonsense into his ear until Josh dumped a girl who did nothing wrong. This is different. Is it? Talk to Emily like an adult instead of letting Marcus plant garbage in your head. You trust her, or you don't. Pick one. I told Grace she was right. I meant it, too, in the moment. Then Marcus found me at lunch, phone already in his hand, screen turned toward me before I'd even sat down. Check this out, Marcus said. What is it? Emily's old profile. Found it linked through a mutual friend's tagged photos. Look, the photo was old, faded colors, clearly years back. Emily, younger, hair shorter, standing beside a guy I'd never seen in my life. His arm was slung around her shoulder. And there, resting against her collarbone, unmistakable even in the grainy photo, was the necklace. That's years before you two even met, Marcus said, like he was doing me a favor. Same necklace though. Interesting, right? My chest went tight. Who's the guy? No idea. Tagged as Alex in the comments. No last name. Maybe it's her cousin. A friend. Maybe. Marcus shrugged, setting his phone down. Or maybe that necklace isn't about some sentimental habit. Maybe it's about him. I stared at the photo until Marcus took his phone back, and even after that, the image stayed burned behind my eyes. Emily, smiling in a way I recognized, standing next to a stranger named Alex, wearing the same necklace she swore was nothing. By the time I got home, I'd built an entire story in my head. An ex-boyfriend she never fully let go of. A piece of jewelry she wore like a promise to someone else. 2 years of lies dressed up as a habit. Emily was in the kitchen when I walked in, and I didn't even take my jacket off before I started. Who's Alex? She turned, confused. What? Alex. The guy in the photo. Wearing the necklace with you years ago. Her face went pale. Where did you see that? Doesn't matter. Answer the question, Emily. Who is he? Daniel, it's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Emily's eyes filled instantly, tears spilling before she could stop them. You don't understand what this is, Daniel. Then explain it to me. I can't. Not like this. Not with you looking at me like I've done something wrong. You're not giving me a choice. Emily pressed her hands over her face, shoulders shaking, but she said nothing more, just stood there crying, repeating the same broken sentence. You don't understand. You don't understand. I felt something cold settle in my chest, anger tangled up with hurt, and I grabbed my keys off the counter. I need some air, I said. Daniel, wait. I didn't wait. I walked out the door, leaving Emily crying in the kitchen, and I told myself I was the one who'd been wronged. I drove around for an hour after leaving the apartment, gripping the wheel too tight, replaying the fight over and over until the words blurred together. By the time I parked outside a coffee shop and just sat there, doing nothing, the anger had burned itself out. What was left underneath it felt worse. Guilt, thick and heavy, settling into my chest like a stone. I thought about calling Emily. I thought about apologizing. But I still didn't have an answer to the one question that wouldn't leave me alone. Who was Alex? So instead, I drove to her father's house. Richard Turner opened the door before I even knocked, like he'd seen my car pull up. He looked older than I remembered, gray creeping further into his hair, lines deeper around his eyes. Daniel, he said, surprised. Emily's not with you? No, sir. I actually came to talk to you. If that's okay. Richard studied me for a moment, then stepped back, opening the door wider. Come in. We sat in his living room, A cup of coffee he didn't ask if I wanted placed in front of me anyway. I turned the mug in my hands, unsure how to start. Emily and I had a fight, I said finally. About what? The necklace she wears. And a photo I saw. There's a guy in it, Alex. Standing next to her, years ago, and she's wearing the same necklace she wears now. She won't tell me who he is, and I stopped, embarrassed by how it sounded out loud. I got it into my head that maybe there was someone before me, someone she never really let go of. Richard's expression shifted, something heavy passing behind his eyes. He set his own mug down slowly. Daniel, he said, there's no Alex. But the photo, that's not a boy in the photo. Richard's voice had gone quiet, careful, like he was choosing each word with effort. That's Sophia. The name meant nothing to me. Who's Sophia? Emily's younger sister. I blinked, confused. Sister? Emily never mentioned. She wouldn't have. Sophia's been gone 5 years now. Richard's hands folded together tightly in his lap. That photo was Halloween. Sophia dressed up as a boy that year, some character from a show she liked. Cut her hair short for it, wore boys' clothes. It confused people all the time. She thought it was hilarious. My stomach dropped. Gone. You mean? She died, Daniel. Car accident. 5 years ago this coming October. The room felt smaller suddenly, the air thinner. I didn't know. Emily never said anything about a sister. She doesn't talk about it. Not with anyone, if she can help it. Richard's eyes were wet now, though his voice stayed steady, like a man who'd had years of practice holding himself together. Sophia was supposed to get picked up that night. She'd called Emily to come get her from a friend's house, maybe 11 o'clock. Emily was still at work, some closing shift, and she told Sophia she'd be a little late. 40 minutes, maybe less. I already knew, somehow, where this was going, and I didn't want to hear the rest of it. Sophia decided to walk partway, meet Emily halfway instead of waiting, Richard continued. It was dark. A driver ran a red light at the intersection near Miller Street. Sophia didn't make it. Richard, I'm so sorry. Emily blames herself. Always has. Always will. No matter how many times I've told her it wasn't her fault. She was 17 minutes away when it happened. 17 minutes. And she carries it like it was 17 years. I thought about the necklace, the way Emily's fingers moved over the stone in slow circles, the way her eyes went distant every time she touched it. The necklace, I said slowly. It was Sophia's. Richard nodded. Found it in the wreckage. Emily asked for it before we buried her. Said she wanted something to keep her sister close. She's worn it every day since. Never takes it off. I don't think she can. I sat there, stunned, the coffee going cold in my hands. Every accusation I'd thrown at Emily replayed in my head, twisted now into something ugly and small. Asterisk, who's Alex? Answer the question. You're not giving me a choice. Asterisk, I'd stood in our kitchen, watching her cry, and instead of comfort, I'd given her cruelty dressed up as concern. She told me I didn't understand, I said quietly. She kept saying that, over and over, and I just kept pushing. She probably couldn't say it out loud, Richard said. Some things are too heavy to explain in the middle of an argument. Grief like that doesn't come out easy, especially not on demand. I made her relive losing her sister because I saw an old Halloween photo and let my imagination run wild. Richard didn't argue with me, didn't try to soften it. You did. The honesty stung more than if he'd tried to comfort me. I need to fix this. Then go fix it. But Daniel, Richard's eyes held mine, steady and serious. Don't just apologize for tonight. Understand what you almost broke. Emily doesn't let many people close enough to see that necklace mean anything at all. If she let you see it mattered, even a little, that's not nothing. I stood, my legs unsteady beneath me. Thank you for telling me. I know it wasn't easy. It's not easy for anyone, Richard said. But you needed to hear it before you made things worse. I drove home with Richard's words circling in my head, along with the memory of Emily's tears, and a single, sickening thought I couldn't shake. I'd let Marcus's whispered suspicions nearly destroy the one person who trusted me with her grief, and I'd almost thrown it away chasing a ghost that was never even there. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed on Grace's couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying Richard's words until they wore grooves into my brain. By morning, I knew exactly where I needed to go first, not home to Emily, not yet. I wasn't ready. I needed to deal with Marcus. I found him at his desk when I got to work, sipping coffee like it was any other Tuesday. Morning, Marcus said. You look rough. We need to talk. Sure. What's up? Sophia, I said. Marcus's coffee cup paused halfway to his mouth. Who? Emily's sister. The boy in that photo you showed me. Except it wasn't a boy, Marcus. It was Sophia, dressed up for Halloween. She died 5 years ago. That necklace belonged to her. The color drained slightly from Marcus's face, but he recovered fast. How was I supposed to know that? You weren't asking to know anything. You were stirring up doubt because it made you feel useful, or maybe because it made you feel something else entirely. What's that supposed to mean? It means I finally figured out why you've spent months whispering in my ear about Emily. This isn't about looking out for me, is it? You like her. Marcus's jaw tightened. That's ridiculous. Is it? Every time I mentioned something good about Emily, you found a way to twist it. Every time I doubted her, you fed it. You didn't want me questioning the necklace, Marcus. You wanted me gone. You're reaching. Am I? My voice rose without me meaning it to. You showed me an old photo out of context and let me believe the worst about someone grieving her dead sister. That's not concern. That's manipulation. A few coworkers had started glancing over from nearby desks. Marcus noticed too, his eyes flicking around the room, jaw clenched tighter. Keep your voice down, Marcus muttered. Why? Embarrassed. I was trying to help you see clearly, Daniel. That's all. No. A voice cut in from behind me. Grace. I hadn't even realized she'd come by to drop off the folder I'd forgotten at home. You were trying to break them up. I heard you on the phone last month, Marcus. Talking to your buddy about how you still had a shot with Emily if things went south with Daniel. I didn't think much of it then. I do now. Marcus's face went rigid. You're twisting things, Grace. Am I? Because it sounds like you've been feeding my brother lies for weeks, hoping he'd dump a woman grieving her little sister. Also, you could swoop in. Grace crossed her arms, unbothered by the small crowd now watching. That's not a friend. That's just pathetic. A couple of co-workers exchanged glances, someone muttering something under their breath. Marcus's ears went red. This isn't the place for this conversation, Marcus said stiffly. You made it the place, I said. The second you decided messing with my relationship was worth it. Marcus grabbed his coffee and walked off without another word, but the damage was already done. I caught murmurs following him down the hallway for the rest of the day. Co-workers who'd apparently noticed his behavior long before I had. Comparing notes, shaking their heads. Whatever reputation Marcus thought he had intact, it wasn't anymore. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired, and more than anything, I felt like I still had the harder conversation ahead of me. That afternoon, I called Emily. She didn't answer, but she texted back a single line. Asterisk, talk to Dr. Hale if you want to understand. I told her you might call. Asterisk. I didn't expect that. I called the number Emily sent, and Dr. Lisa Hale agreed to see me for a short session that evening, since Emily had apparently already given permission. Dr. Hale's office was small, quiet, lined with soft chairs and warm lighting. She gestured for me to sit. Emily told me a little about what happened, Dr. Hale said. I want to be clear, I can't share details of her sessions, but I can help you understand grief in general, if that's useful. I don't even know where to start, I admitted. I said things I can't take back. I basically accused her of hiding an ex-boyfriend, and it turned out to be her dead sister's necklace. Dr. Hale nodded slowly. Grief like Emily's doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like silence. Like deflection. People who carry guilt, especially the kind Emily carries, believing she could have prevented something, often protect themselves by avoiding the subject entirely. Not because they don't trust you, because saying it out loud makes it real again every time. She told me I didn't understand. I kept pushing anyway. That's common too, Dr. Hale said gently. People want their partners to understand instinctively, without having to explain something so painful. But sometimes explaining is the only way understanding happens at all. It's not fair, but it's true. How do I fix this? You don't fix grief, Daniel. You show up for it. Consistently. Without demanding she explain herself on your timeline. Dr. Hale leaned forward slightly. Apologize for the accusation, not just the argument. Let her know you understand what the necklace means now, and that you're not going anywhere. I left her office with more clarity than I'd had in days, but also more fear. I rehearsed what I wanted to say the entire drive home, muttering the words under my breath like a man cramming for the most important test of his life. Asterisk, I'm sorry. I let jealousy make me cruel. I know about Sophia now, and I understand why the necklace matters. I'm not going anywhere. Asterisk. It sounded right in the car. I just didn't know if it would sound right to Emily, or if I'd already broken something too deep to repair. I stood outside our apartment door longer than I needed to, key already in my hand, rehearsed words sitting heavy on my tongue. When I finally went in, Emily was sitting at the kitchen table, exactly where I'd left her the night before, like she hadn't moved at all. "Hey," I said quietly. "Hey." Her voice was flat, guarded. I sat down across from her, hands folded on the table so I wouldn't reach for her too soon. "I talked to your dad yesterday." Emily's eyes flicked up. "About what?" "About Sophia." She went still, the way she always did when the subject came near her. "Daniel, I'm not here to ask questions," I said quickly. "I'm here to apologize. I was cruel to you last night, and I let jealousy turn into something ugly. I accused you of hiding an old relationship when really you were protecting the memory of your sister, and I didn't give you the space to explain it. That's on me." Emily's eyes filled, but she didn't look away this time. "You really talked to my dad?" "He told me everything. The accident, the necklace, all of it." I reached across the table, slow enough that she could pull back if she wanted. She didn't. "I understand now, Emily. Or at least, I understand enough to know I was wrong to push the way I did. I should have told you sooner," Emily admitted, her voice cracking. Every time I think about explaining it, I feel like I'm reliving it. The phone call, the waiting, all of it. "You don't have to explain anything to me if you're not ready." "I want to," Emily said, surprising me. "I've never really told anyone the whole story. Not even my therapist gets all of it. But I think I want you to know. Properly this time." I stayed quiet, giving her room. "Sophia was 17. Emily started, her fingers finding the necklace almost automatically. "She was loud and stubborn, and she used to steal my clothes without asking. She wanted to be a marine biologist. Had her whole life planned out by 14, which is more than I can say for myself at that age." I smiled softly, careful not to interrupt. "That night, she called me from her friend's house, needed a ride home. I told her I'd be a little late. Closing shift ran over. She said she'd start walking to meet me halfway, said she was tired of waiting around." Emily's voice trembled, but she kept going. "I told her to just wait. She didn't listen. Some driver ran a red light 2 blocks from where I was supposed to pick her up. Emily, I'm so sorry. I keep thinking if I'd left 5 minutes earlier, or told my manager I couldn't stay, or just said something different on the phone." She stopped, wiping at her eyes. "I know it wasn't my fault. Everyone tells me that. But some part of me still thinks I could have stopped it." "You couldn't have known," I said gently. "None of us can see the version of events where things go wrong. You were doing your job. She made her own choice to walk. I know that logically." Emily let out a shaky breath. "It just doesn't always feel true. You don't have to feel it today. You just have to keep telling yourself, until one day it sticks a little more." Emily looked at me for a long moment, something loosening in her expression. "Thank you for not running from this." "I almost did," I admitted. "Marcus fed me a story, and I was stupid enough to believe it over trusting you." "Marcus? Turns out he had feelings for you this whole time. Wanted me out of the picture, so he twisted an old Halloween photo into something it never was." I shook my head. "Grace called him out in front of half the office. I don't think he'll be showing his face around anyone for a while." Emily almost laughed, a small, surprised sound. "Of course he did. I'm done letting other people's whispers decide what I believe about you," I said. "That's on me, going forward." Emily reached into her pocket and pulled out something small, wrapped in tissue, a tiny stone, pale green, no bigger than a fingernail. "I bought this a while back. Never knew what to do with it. Thought about adding it to Sophia's necklace someday, something small of my own, but I never felt ready." "Are you ready now?" She looked at the stone, then at me. "I think so, if you'll help me." We sat together at the kitchen table while Emily carefully worked the small stone onto the chain beside Sophia's, her hand steady for the first time in days. It wasn't about replacing her sister's memory. It was about carrying it forward, together instead of alone. I used to think love meant knowing everything about someone immediately, demanding answers the moment something confused me. I understand now that real love means sitting quietly beside someone's pain, without needing to solve it or explain it away. Emily's necklace still holds the same silver chain, the same blue stone. But now, it holds a second one too, small, green, and quietly hers. I stopped needing certainty that night. I learned, instead, how to hold space for someone else's grief without needing to understand it all at once.